GST collection indicator, which shows that, there is a robust economic activity in the country. Will it translate into higher consumption during the festive period? So the third quarter of the economy is usually a very important one in terms of the business cycle, because several industries, several sectors get a bulk of their revenues from these few months, which is broadly called the festive season, where a slew of festivals are celebrated. It will actually kick off from next week, from Ganesh Utsav in Maharashtra. Then it goes on to various parts of the country, and different festivals are celebrated all the way, in a sense, till early January next year. So that's usually a period of high spending. Now, people will want to spend, hopefully, even though the GDP Q1 data shows that consumption patterns have still not revived to FY20 levels, but people will hopefully want to open up their wallets and their purses, those who can afford to, in this festive season. They will now be confronted by higher prices in almost every category. So we know food inflation has been a concern. We know prices of petrol and diesel have been rising phenomenally over the last 1 year, and that leaks into pretty much everything. But it's not just that. Look at this, for example. Television prices in some segments are up 30 to 35%. Chip makers have said that they will hike prices 10 to 20%. The panels which are used in TVs, those prices are up 80%. Copper and steel, which is used in a large number of products, is up 70 to 80%. Discounts, meanwhile, have dropped. A lot of these items I'm talking about are now smart items. So smartphones, even your consumer durables, all need microchips, which, as we all know very well, are in a huge shortage. So will this shortage really impact the kind of demand that is possibly going to be seen? Will there be enough to actually sell? To speak on this, I'm joined today by Nikunj Sanghi. He's Chairman ASDC and Director of FADA. Sankalp Agarwal, co-founder and CEO of TravelTriangle.com, is joining us to explain whether it's going to be expensive to go on a holiday as well in this period. And Navkendar Singh, Research Director, Client Devices and IPDS at IDC India, also on the show. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for speaking with us. Mr. Singh, let me start by getting your overview on what we're discussing today. Give us a sense of what categories are going to see higher prices this time round, and is it going to be higher prices just because of a shortage of components or a shortage of material?
Yes, so let's start with the personal computer, the PCs, which has laptops and desktops, which has really seen demand surge since we went into the pandemic because of e-learning and working from home. Now the capacity for that, they are not able to produce as much as the demand. So we have seen almost 1.5% to 2% increase in prices for these for the past few months, and that will happen for the next few months as well. Retail prices. So we should expect those prices to harden a little bit, and that's also because demand is so much more than the supply. Also on all smart devices, as you said, even the smartphones and the wearable space as well, we should see some price hardening because of port issues in China, because of component supply shortages. In this festival season, we should not expect the discounts as we are used to of the festival season. Although, in the festival season, in the last 4 months of the year, September to November, end of December, that's almost 40% of the sales of all the consumer electronics. But we should not expect as much, discounts, as many discounts as we have seen last year, because last year we really saw the demand surge from June, July, and really the pent-up demand came in. And that's one of the reasons, we should be slightly careful about the prices this time around. Although we'll see some affordability schemes by financials, financial institutions or platforms tying up with some of the cards or some of the financial institutions, but not as much discount as we are used to.
Mr. Singh, you gave us an idea in terms of laptops of a price hike of 1.5% to 2% this month, but give us a year-on-year sort of perspective with the personal devices, especially because the demand has gone up. Of course, supply is coming in short. A cursory glances at prices online shows a significant jump if you compare to 6 months to a year ago, isn't it?
That's true. And even from the brand's point of view, you to see if the demand is, if the supply is much lesser than the demand, they will obviously love to meet the demand and the price segments which are profitable for them, right? So they are trying to get allocations from the headquarters and the regional headquarters that in those price bands. So we have seen in the smartphone, we have seen almost about 10 to 12% kind of price in the average sales price. In the PCs, we have seen about 50 to 20% in the past 18 months. And we have not seen many launches below affordable, which is about 35 to 40,000. Although, India market remains, under penetrated in the PCs, but the brands are also doing it, that end. In wearables and other smart devices, we've seen Indian brands really doing well. And we believe they will spend a lot of money marketing along with the platforms. E-tailers will be one of the big ones. They will spend a lot because the ticket size is much lesser and more palatable to the consumer. But we should not expect the prices to be, very softened for smart devices and other, where we'll see about 10 to 20% hike in the past 1 year. And we should, in the next few months, expect more.
Yeah. So your smart devices are going to get more expensive. Nikunj Sanghi, we know that, vehicles are beginning to get more expensive. We had a conversation about this as well. Maruti has already hiked prices. Others have also hiked prices. They're now cutting down production because semiconductors are not available. We reported today that Mahindra & Mahindra is now changing its strategy to decide which brands, which models to actually produce in a larger level because of the semiconductor shortage. Do you think any of this will impact demand? And can you give us an overview of how expensive it has become to own a vehicle in the last 1 year?
So I don't know. In this business, I have not seen price hikes like this happening and with the frequency at which they are happening. And even now, I think almost every OEM has gone on record saying that they have not yet passed on the entire input cost increase to the consumer. So you can expect a regular price increase going further. So I think the cars are becoming dearer, the two-wheelers are becoming dearer. So, I think the input costs are really skyrocketing. So I think there'll be a further price increase. There's one which is announced in September. I think most manufacturers have done it. Maruti has done it on 1st of September. And normally what Maruti does, most passenger vehicles also do it. Two-wheelers have already done it last month. So there has been a price increase in two-wheelers, and with limited supply of vehicles, I think discounts will not be there at all, specifically in the passenger vehicle segment and light commercial vehicle segment. You can expect some discounts, some schemes on two-wheelers though, because there is a healthy inventory in the system for two-wheelers, and two-wheelers have seen a stress in demand. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get some consumer and attractive consumer schemes in two-wheelers, but passenger vehicles, higher prices and no discounts is going to be the name of the game.
Wow. So do you think that this will impact demand, Mr. Sanghi?
We will really never be able to gauge whether it will impact demand as far as passenger vehicles are concerned, because there are huge waiting lists on passenger vehicles. So, and they are not able to supply what is required. So I think vehicles will continue to remain in shortage, not because demand is not there, because supply is not there. So I don't think we'll be able to gauge the impact on demand, but we are able to gauge the impact in two-wheelers. And I think affordability, because of poor affordability of two-wheelers, both as the price of the vehicle and in terms of the fuel prices which have gone up, you can see that the consumer demand has gone down on affordability front. In cars, we'll only realize it when there is sufficient supply in the market. Presently, because of insufficient supply, you're not able to gauge whether it's going to impact demand.
Okay. Sankalp, give us an idea what's happening in the travel and tourism industry. I would easily say one of the most badly hit. During the pandemic, there was a silver lining when things started opening up late last year, and then this terrible, devastating second wave came in, and many people blame the fact that people were, moving around. So it's still picking up now. Are you seeing that revenge travel emerging again? And has it become more expensive to travel, say, compared to a year ago?
Sure. So first of all, thanks for inviting me to the show to give the views on the travel industry behalf. So I'll pick up the question and answer it in two parts, right? So first part is how the year-on-year behavior of the travel prices have been during the festive season, right? So if you see predominantly in the pre-COVID time, festivals used to be a time where people were traveling back to home. So the prices of flight, the prices of hotels, prices of everything would spike because of the scarcity premium on which predominantly the profit margins are made into the travel industry, right? It was never a cheaper time to travel during the festive seasons because of the demand surge. Now the dynamics have gone completely different because of the COVID. Now, as you have rightly mentioned, AMJ was a difficult time for travel where all travel had predominantly stopped, and we are seeing the revenge travel picking up, and we have seen the pictures of travelers in Himachal, Uttarakhand, crowding up. So that demand is picking up, which is effectively leading to now we are after AMJ. This is the third month, which is July, August, and September, which is where the inventory owners are seeing that there's some regularity into the business, and to get this regularity, they are already working at a little bit of reduced prices. So we are not going to see a major spike into the prices this time, which is in fact a relief for the travelers. And I think more and more travelers utilize this time as compared to previous time where they went to their homes. Now, while the prices will be little reduced, there will be extra services which will be available to the customers owing to COVID, right? So if anyone is planning to travel, we have three big things in the mind which is now serviced by any inventory owner. First is sanitization, hygiene, and safety standards, which you are evaluating, which are serviced. Second is flexible cancellation and rescheduling policies, where we need a lot of comfort. So those are there. And third is extended customer care solutions. Because due to COVID, some trips cancel, some destinations require certain new restrictions,
Yeah.
etc. So all these three services are now packaged in into this lower price. So from my perspective, it's a great solution for all the travelers during this period compared to year on year. And I think the demand will rise because of wholesome solutioning and good prices.
But Sankalp, is this an overall view that you're giving? But is this true of all categories? Because if you see high-end categories, and if you compare, definitely prices have gone up compared to say even 6 to 8 months ago. I'm talking about brands which have a trusted and loyal base of users, and your big chains. They have now gone ahead and hiked up prices, haven't they?
So some places yes, some places no. So the answer is yes and no. So if you see the higher, costlier brands, some of them are struggling with the inventory occupancy still, right? So their prices are lower. So that can happen on case-to-case basis. But of course, there is an input pressure. There is a pressure of large hotelier chains having a lot of debt on their balance sheet, right? So all of these pressures may be larger than what is happening in the overall industry perspective, and hence they may be forced to increase their prices. And of course, there is also a demand spike into the quality lodging, which is 4-star, 5-star lodging, right? Because the sanitization, hygiene, and safety standards are predominantly solved, and people don't have to think second time about it. So mix of these factors contributing at certain areas may lead to price hikes, but still they will not be as high as they were a year back or 1.5 year back in the pre-COVID times, because at that point of time there was a mass movement during festive season, right? That's the larger point. That spike will not come. If you see the flight prices are controlled by government.
So one thing to do in festive season is maybe travel, but you're right. That's a time when people usually travel at home or they celebrate with their friends and family where they are. The big draw is to go out and purchase things. Mr. Singh, let me ask you the question about demand. Is it going to be a dampener at all for demand if the prices are increasing to the extent that you have described? Or will, finance options, EMIs, etc., come in and save the day?
And that's a very interesting question. And, we have to bifurcate into a few parts. For example, the personal computer space. Before pandemic, the industry had a problem of demand. Now there's a problem of supply. They're not able to match the demand, however much, they're bringing to the country. So in PCs and the laptops, demand is not going to be a problem, even at the high prices. Obviously, a case can be made if you drop the prices, if the prices don't increase, some more people will come and buy, but then you're not able to supply for those price bands. So PC is not a problem. Wearables, you will see a lot of fitness bands and a lot of Indian brands are doing well there at an affordable price band. So you will see not many launches there. The demand is not going to be a problem because the ticket price is okay. On the smartphone piece, many people in the past 18 months, and we have seen last year was one of the last Q2 AMJ was bad. Then July and September was the largest quarter ever. We did about 54 million. That's about 5.4 crore in a quarter shipments. That's one of the largest. So matching that probably might be slightly difficult this time around. But with the prices hardening, you will see a slight demand, not as much demand as last year, and you will see impact on the demand in the smartphone space. Certainly at the premium end of the market, 30,000 plus. But then again, 80% of the market of India lies below 20,000 rupees smartphones. But there again, also the brands and the vendors are not able to supply as much. You will see some demand impact. That will be both from prices point of view and supply at a particular price point as well.
So it's going to be a tough call. There's no point waiting though, thinking that prices will come down anytime soon. That's also the big message coming in here, because the basic reasons for these price hikes are not going to ease off. These are global supply issues in the most part. The components that go into making these products have become more expensive. Shipping them over, container costs have gone up, and the world is now looking at the situation where demand is outstripping supply. So if you need something, go ahead and make that purchase sooner than later. But thank you so much to all of you for joining us on this first big conversation today.